Consider a star system, a solitary star, a binary star, a triple star, a quadruple star, a pentastar. Imagine just how such relationships would work in a sexual context. It's an intriguing thought, isn't it? That's exactly how they do it here. This bears similarities to Mormonism, drawing comparisons between celestial bodies and the functioning of the universe according to our observations, analogizing these cosmic phenomena to earthly events. They search for correlations, which reminds me of classic religious tactics. It's indeed a mystical approach. Consider this character here, the Reaper. Surprisingly, he is really a man, not a Reaper at all. Here, the pastor accuses him of divine infidelity, criticizing where the church is looking. Are they searching for promiscuous stars? I find that quite amusing. These are subtle hints where they always suggest something. We know that this is what Danielov typically does, making allusions while counterpointing. As if a conservative argument got muddled up. It appears as though everything is okay. That's what I enjoyed about it. Now on another topic, here for example, is a paragraph in which they state that every organ vibrates at a certain frequency. This suggests that we could potentially heal people using devices that make similar vibrations, curing the organ affected by cancer. This could be construed as a mystical science. I'm not a scientist or a doctor, though. I'm not sure if it works. In theory, I could see it potentially having a beneficial effect. Imagine if you have stomach cancer and you introduce a machine that vibrates at a certain frequency. I think it might prove effective. I'm unsure if it's because the organs vibrate at a similar frequency, or if it's because everything composed of matter vibrates at some level. It could possibly work, but I find it hard to believe that none of these people are capable of building such a machine for a demonstrative study. An indicative study that will show it really improved certain people. If it's not so challenging, what astonishes me is that these alternative methods aren't always true. I'm not coming to a conclusion here. But it's just all these claims about vibrations, like water vibrations. I just don't know what else. Snowflakes having different shapes, I'm not sure. Depending on what, I don't know. Everything is at a mystical level. It might symbolize something, it might even work. But if it works as you claim, then bring forward the scientific evidence. Or be straightforward and admit that it doesn't work scientifically, and that it's just mystical. Otherwise, it seems like a purification process. I used to be quite conciliatory about it, wondering how it works, maybe it works, but nowadays, I am more convinced after we discussed it in detail that it's a complete fraud. So these are all those pseudo-scientific methods, like the idea of relative time and how things age differently. Perhaps so. There's talk of exoosmosis, which is caused by the sudden release of psychic energy, triggered by many things. An explosion of internal energy, which then stimulates a person's exoosmosis. In this case, the exoosmosis speeds up, thereby enabling a person to accomplish much more in a moment than in a natural state. He speaks of explosions of prana here, which I think forms the basis of the teachings, helping to protect the world from hurricanes and disasters. He talks about displacement in space with those celestial birds and their orgasms. On the topic of hypnosis, these are areas that are heavily touched upon here, drawing largely from Russian folklore and Soviet pseudo-scientific myths. Let's move on to the second book, or rather a pamphlet. This was built from a base, a fable. Then they created a book, Science and Letra, where they pretended it was indeed scientific. Now they fully assert that it is scientific and actually utilize it as... Can you see it? Right on the first page there's still Allatra. There's clear evidence that they always affirm in the Creator, but they insist they are not the same, they are not connected.